This is your girl Lynette from DALS Credit Solutions. Today is Tuesday, August the 16th, 2022. We are 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the East Coast, 4 p.m. Standard Time on the West Coast. I think it's Central Standard Time. But welcome in, welcome. Thank you for tuning in another Tuesday. As I stated before, we are getting acclimated back to the platform, and thank you very much for those who have stayed consistent with the brand. We greatly appreciate it. We are tuning in using the platform StreamYard. If this is your first time watching, please put in the comments where you are tuning in from. If this is you're watching the replay, put in hashtag Credit Tip Tuesday replay. Today's topic, we are going to go over the importance of credit card usage and the statement date versus the payment due date. Now, last week we did a full series on the importance of your personal credit based on you being a business owner or not a business owner. However, we talked about the 5 pillars. The 5 pillars were payment history, credit card utilization, credit age, overall credit, and mixed credit. Today, we will focus on the credit cards. And even though this have been a live I've done before, I want you to understand the importance of the statement closing date versus the payment due date. If you want a copy of the slides after the live, please put in the comments your email, and we will send them to you within 48 hours. And you can have these, educate other people, because we can't reach everyone, and give them the insight on what you learned on Credit Tip Tuesday. If you want the recording, also send me an email or go back to my DALS Credit Solutions Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and all the social media platforms, and review at your own leisure. As we begin, please like, click, and share. It's much so appreciated. It is free to like, click, and share. And it supports the business to get people familiar of who we are and what we stand for. So I greatly appreciate all of you and those that have been dedicated to us since day one. We also thank you. We thank the newcomers and thank all those that we are educating on a daily basis. So let's get started. So as I stated before, last week we did a whole series. Please go check it out. It was very informative. And we're going to talk about credit card usage because it's very important. Understand the payment history might have the larger number, but the credit utilization determines if you're credit worthy. And that also because it includes a resilience score. The resilience score is within the FICO scoring models, and it goes from 0 to 99. From 0 to 30, you are very low risk. 31 to 45, you are moderate risk, and 46 and above, you are high risk. You can go to www.myfico.com to see what your resilience score is. Normally, when a resilience score is low, the credit score is pretty well, most of the time. I've seen low resilience scores with a low credit score. So please be mindful. The resilience score is a factor and key of determining if you are credit worthy. So let us begin. As I stated before, the payment due date versus the statement closing date. We often hear these terms being used simultaneously, and they're not the same. They have nothing to do with each other. Nothing. By definition, the statement closing date is the date that the finance charges are calculated and added to your balance based on your credit card activity during the billing cycle. The billing cycle is your activity that's going to be reported to the credit bureaus, and it's a month behind. You never hear that. It's a month behind. So what you did in June won't be reported until August. What you did in July won't be reported till September, because the billing cycle is the cycle that happened during the previous month. When you understand this, the statement closing date is the date that the bill is prepared. So let me say this again. The billing cycle is the days and the activities within the month of the usage of that credit card. So if we're talking about the month of December, whatever you've done from December 1st to December 31st will be reported on the next billing cycle, and December's billing cycle won't report to February because it's a month behind. Your payment due date is the date normally between dates 21 and 25 after the account statement is prepared. So let's go over this again for anybody just tuning in. The statement closing date and the payment due date are often used simultaneously. They have nothing in common. They don't mean the same thing. The statement closing date is the date that the finance charges are calculated and added to your balance based on your credit card activity during that billing cycle. The billing cycle is the period of days within the month. The date of that statement that is closing is also the date the bill is prepared. All transactions made between the previous account statement closing date and current closing date will be reported during the following month, meaning it's a month behind schedule. So anything you've done in December won't be reported till February. Anything you've done in January won't be reported till March. So you have to understand that the statement closing date is the activity within that month that gets reported the next, like it's a month behind schedule. It's like your cable bill. You get pre-calculated or pre-estimates of what you're going to spend based on the activity period. So they look at that trend to see how your spending patterns and how you are paying your credit card. So it's very important. The payment due date is the date that the bill is due. The statement closing date and the payment due date are not the same. So when you hear these myths, as long as you pay your you spend everything on your credit card and you can pay it before the statement closing date, that's false, because you cannot do that because the way it's reporting. So as I stated in the previous slide, it says if the entire balance is paid each month before the payment due date, no interest generated for the following month. That's always the question. So let's have a conversation. And before we begin, again, my name is Lynette. I am the founder of DALS Credit Solutions, located in Central Pennsylvania. We are using the platform StreamYard. If this is the first time you are tuning in, please put in the comments where you are tuning in from. If you are watching a replay, please put in the comments hashtag Credit Tip Tuesday replay. I know it's pretty long, but I appreciate it. And if you would like if you desire the slides once the live is over, I will send you the slides within a 48-hour period. And also like, click, and share. It's very important. It's free. Let's get the word out to everyone because we can't reach everyone. So, do you believe one should spend the entire limit on the credit card if you can satisfy the payment before the statement closing date? Let's go. So these key terms are extremely important. And the reason I say they're extremely important because these are all the ways in that's being calculated during that statement date, how you pay, your activities, your trend, your spend. Very important. And once you learn how to calculate your APR, which is your annual percentage rate or annual purchase rate, you will understand why the question we asked in the beginning is very important for you to know these terms. So late payments, penalty and fees, paying interest, payment due date, statement closing date, annual percentage rate or APR, excuse me. When you make a payment, generally, they first apply the minimum payment balance to your annual statement with the lowest APR. And when you pay above the minimum payment, you usually apply to the highest balance within that month. So let's follow me as I say this. So I use Capital One and Chase because one, I have business partnerships with both. Two, I understand the payment cycles when it comes to both of these and all of them. And 3, you must understand the importance of paying your credit card. Why is it important that you understand the trend of your credit card spending and the statement billing date and how it's generated on the credit report? So I did 2 companies, and it's Capital One and Chase, and I did an example. These are my own examples that I made up based off of the numbers. I know I'm really big on numbers. And so the period that I use is December 1st to the 31st. I use 2 equations, one with a balance and one without a balance. And what it shows is we used a $2,000, line of credit. So as we continue, I also read the credit card the credit card laws when it comes to Capital One and Chase. I also confirmed with their credit department to see if I was calculating based off of what their APR standardly, and I was confirmed that this is correct. So follow me as I say this. So again, I use the period December 1st to December 31st. We have a $2,000 credit limit. And what I'm going to demonstrate is how to calculate your credit card bills. So use this platform to follow me as I demonstrate this and apply this to your knowledge with your own credit cards. So December 1st, we had a balance of 0. December 10th, we had a purchase of $981. Okay. On December 9th, though, there was a payment of $2,000 on the credit card. So the 15th of December, there was a purchase of $275. On the 27th, there was a purchase of $700. And on the 29th, there was a purchase of $44. Now, the payment due date is the 14th. The question is, will you have a balance with no interest? So let's go over step 4 again. Step 4, December 1st, there was a 0 balance. December 10th, there was a transaction of $981. However, on December 9th, a payment of $2,000 was made on the actual credit card. The 15th of December, there was a transaction of $275, a purchase on the 27th of $700, and a purchase on the 29th of December for $44. The payment due date is on the 14th. So the way you calculate what is owed on your credit card, you do the following. So from the 1st to the 10th, there was no transaction, right? No, the 1st to the 9th, there was no transaction. However, on the 10th, there was a transaction of $981. On the 9th of December, there was a payment of $2,000. A purchase on the 15th of $275, the 27th, $700. A purchase on the 29th of $44. In the month of December, there are 31 days in the month. 31 days. So the way you find out, and please get your pencil and piece of paper, and I will go as slow as possible. And if you need to watch the replay, please watch the replay. So on the 10th of December, a purchase of $981. So you're going to take $981 and you're going to count the days from the 1st to the 10th, and that it equals 11 days. So you count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's 11 days. I know you say, no, Lynette, it's 10 days. Actually, no, it's 11. It's 11 days. How they got 11 days when I went over this with them, I don't know, but it is 11 days. So the first 11 days will be added to the 981. Mind you, again, on the 9th of December, there was a payment of $2,000. So when you do 981 times 11, you will get 10,791. All the numbers you see in parentheses equals the number of days within the billing cycle. The month of December has 31 days. The month that your transaction is in the month of December, which have 31 days. So as you're doing this, you do from the 1st to the 10th, and it's 11 days, you get 10,791. The purchase on the 15th, so we go from the 11th day to the 15th day, which is 6 days, and you do 275 times 6, you're going to get 1,650. You're going to go from the 16th to the 27th, and that's 11 days. So we got 700 times 11, which is 7,700. So right now we have 11 is 22, and 6 plus 3 is 9, which would give us the full 31 days. Purchase of $44 from the 27th to the 29th is 3 days, and it will give you $132. Excuse me. So when you add all those amounts up, you would get a total of 20,273. And this is how you're going to find out your average daily balance. So when you get all those numbers added up on the right column, you have 10,791, 1,650, 7,700, 132. When you add all those days up, all those amounts, you would get 20,273. In order to find your average daily balance, you're going to divide that number by 31 because there's 31 days in December. So your average daily balance is $653.97 roughly. So as you're doing this, you probably say, how in the world did she get this? So you look at the dates of your activity. Is very important because the statement closing date bills your activity for the following month on the credit report, meaning January won't get reported till March, so they're a month behind. So you look at that activity within that period, and even though there was a $2,000 payment on the 9th, you still have an average daily balance of $653. So you paying your bill in full on the 9th and having activities still during that period is going to leave you with an average daily balance. In order for you to find that, you count the date from the first day of the month to the date of the transaction, and then from so on and so on. So your second transaction was on the 15th. You go from the 10th to the 15th, which is 6 days. You go from the 15th to the 27th, which is 11 days. And then you go from the 27th to the 29th, which is 3 days. I disagree with the 11 days. God knows I do, but I confirmed this, and they said that's how you do it. So when you add those days up and multiply it by the activity of that transaction, you now is learning how to find your average daily balance. So in order for you to understand your average daily balance, you have to understand the trend on how you're spending during that billing cycle, understand how to make the payments on your credit cards based on the dates of purchase within that billing cycle. And for you to find your average daily balance, you find out by the total amount of the dates within that cycle according to the transaction, and you will get your ADB, which is your average daily balance. Now, in order for you to understand your annual percentage rate, which is also your annual purchase rate, meaning every time you make a transaction, you get a purchase rate annually, daily, however you want to call it. So with Capital One's, I did 16.5%. In order for you to find your APR for a purchase of its 16.5%, you take that 16.5 and divide it by 12, and your average daily rate is 1.375. So every time you have a balance on your credit card, based off of this formula, you're accruing interest daily at 1.375%. It's very important because a lot of times people will say, I pay my entire bill. Why do I have a balance? Because you're not factoring in the interest that you are accruing daily once you make the purchases on your credit card. That's why you should not ever spend your entire balance and repay it back, because you're failing to understand how to create and pay your bill based off of its transaction history. The transaction history is what is being reported to the credit card, and it's a month behind. It's very important that you guys understand this, because one, it's your resilience score along with your credit card utilization. Two, it gives you a stronger score to let the lender know you are credit worthy. Three, you won't accrue interest if you understand this method. It's very important. So we can look at the steps again. But before we do that, I just want to let everybody know my name is Lynette. I am the founder of DALS Credit Solutions located in Central Pennsylvania. We are tuning in using the platform StreamYard. This is Credit Tip Tuesday, and it's August the 16th, 2022. We are using the platform StreamYard. So if you have any questions, please place them in the chat. I will look at the questions as we are viewing. In addition, if this is your first time watching Credit Tip Tuesday, please place in the comments where you are tuning in from. If you are watching a replay, please put hashtag Credit Tip Tuesday replay. I greatly appreciate it. And to those who've been dedicated to DALS Credit Solutions from the beginning, we thank you. We love you. Please like, click, and share. And to those that are coming in, I pray you learn something as you becoming more resilient and credit worthy within your growth when it comes to your overall, credit, journey. So as we were talking, it's important for you to understand your credit card utilization, how it's being paid, purchases, and how you need to understand the billing statement. The billing cycle, the statement closing date, and the payment due date have absolutely nothing in common. Nothing. A lot of times they are used interchangeably, but they are not the same. Trust me when I tell you this. Your statement closing date is the activity within that billing cycle that will be reported to the credit bureaus from the previous month. So again, for example, December won't reach the credit bureaus until February. January won't reach the credit bureaus till March. It is a month behind schedule. That's why the statement billing date and the payment due date have nothing in common. They are always used interchangeably, but they are not the same. As we was using as I was demonstrating to you guys, I used the month of December, the credit limit of $2,000, the dates of purchases, the payment of the $2,000 on the 9th. The bill is due on the 14th of December, and there were purchases throughout the month of December. I gave the examples of the purchase of $981, a payment of $2,000, a purchase of $275, a purchase of $700, and a purchase of $44. What I did, I took it from the first date of December to the date of the initial purchase. I multiplied those number of days by the date of doing the purchase, And as I'm doing that, I continued this because there are 31 days in the month of December. If you look at the dates in parentheses, you have 11, 6, 11, and 3. If you total those up, it equals 31. In order to find your annual daily balance, you must calculate after you get all the, I lost train of thought. Once you get all of the actual payments and the dates associated with it, you add that column up. So 10,791, 1,650, 7,700, 1,300, $132. When you do that, you will get 20,273. You would divide that number by 31 to get your average daily balance. And you will see that at 653.97. In order for you to find your APR, and that's your annual purchase rate or your annual percentage rate, you would divide the 16.5, which is your credit card percentage usage. And if you want to find the daily interest that's accruing on the purchases, you divide the 16.5, divide that by 12, you would get 1.375. So every time you make a purchase and there's a balance, you are being charged 1.375% on that purchase daily until that balance is paid. So if you're not factoring in, if you factor in all those purchases, but you made a payment on the 9th of $2,000, there were purchases after the 9th. So you have a purchase of $275, $700, and $44. When you get those payments and you add everything up, you will see that when you do this, you still have an APR that is accruing daily. So this is a lot of times when you see people say, oh my God, I pay my balance off. Why do I have a payment during my billing cycle on my credit report? Because you fail to factor in the average daily rate that's being accrued on purchases. Again, if you have any questions, please place them in the comments. Follow this demonstration and then apply it to your cards that you do have. So as we look at this, we look at the payment on the 15th, as we demonstrated previously on the other slide. The purchase on the 27th for $700, the purchase on the 29th for $44, and you have a payment due date on the 14th. However, if you add the $744, because we took the payment, the $700 on the 27th and the $44 on the 29th, because these was purchases made on and after December 9th. So we took the $744 and we added to the 16.5 and divided that by 12. So when you do this, the minimum payment will be $45.174224. So we took the 1.6, we took the 16.5 divided by 12. And we got 1.375, which we demonstrated in the previous slide. When we did this, we added that to the 745.375. So you added the 744 and the 1.375. Your minimum payment due for that billing cycle would be $45.17. Now, as you're saying, I'm like, how did you figure this out? So if you add December 27th and December 29th payments, because that's anything after the 9th, the payment on the $275 is still included in the $2,000 payment. Even though it's from the previous cycle, some of that purchase went to that payment. So we started from the $700 and the $44. So you added $700 plus $44, which we got $744. You added the 16.5, divided that by 12. We got 1.375. So those two payments are still outstanding within the billing cycle. So when you add those together, you will get $745.375. Your minimum payment will be $45.17. If you want to know more how I got that, that's when you have to tune in. And we'll go over the second part next week. So we go deeper into this. So as you're going into this credit card and understanding the average daily balance and understanding statement date versus payment due date, they are not the same. The statement billing date is being reported from the previous month on the next billing cycle, which again, December's billing cycle won't be reported to February. January's billing cycle won't be reported to March. So that's why it's not feasible to do not spend your entire credit card limit and pay it back before the billing statement date, because the billing statement date is a statement date that's reported and it's a month behind schedule. So please do yourself a favor. Look at this demonstration. If you have any questions, place them in the chat. If you need me to explain further, I will redo Credit Tip Tuesday again to go over this in finer detail. We can use people if they want to give examples on, say, if you have this bill on this due date and tell me the activity, and we can do it on the live. You don't have to come on. But the goal is for you to understand your credit card utilization, because it is a part of your resilience score. And the resilience score is generated from the MyFICO scoring model, and it is highly used when it comes to that final determination of that loan or whatever you want to get, your credit cards or whatever. You have to show resilience within your credit card usage. If you are swiping $10,000 or $5,000 and you're paying $5,000 back by the payment date or the statement closing date, what do you need a $5,000 credit card limit for? If you're using cash and you're swiping, they understand the trend. They've been doing this for years. A lot of it has been done before we were born. Please understand, artificial intelligence is real. Not only is your activity reported, your behaviors, how you spend your money, what are your interests. So the scoring model of the credit utilization is based off of your activity, based on your interest, and based on how you spend. That's why the FICO score 10T goes back 2 years. The T stands for trend. How do you spend and pay your bills? So if you're swiping and paying it 2 days later, and you're swiping it and paying it 2 days later, does that really make sense? The answer is no. So be mindful what you do and be wise on what you do, and spend what you need and pay it based off the date of purchase as demonstrated. If you have any questions or concerns, please place them in the chat. This will conclude Credit Tip Tuesday. If you want to see more of this, place this in the comments and we can revisit this the following Tuesday. If this is your first time tuning in, like, click, and share. If you are watching a replay, put in the comments Credit Tip Tuesday replay. We are using the platform StreamYard. I appreciate everyone who tunes in. When I do go live, again, I'm being reintroduced back to the platform, and I greatly appreciate all those who accept. I'm humbled by coming back and educating on these levels, because the truth is needed. Also, make sure you watch the replay. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. When you are extended a line of credit, I don't care if it's $200 or $2 million, please appreciate that you are not the risk. The creditors are the risk. Please appreciate that your payment history and the way you spend will be reported. Please understand that when you swipe your card and you swipe it for large amounts and you pay it back in large amounts, you are more of a risk than you are credit worthy. So understand that artificial intelligence is not slow. They understand the dynamics, and this is why many of us are classified based off of our spend, our behavior, and our interests. The credit report overall is not just the numbers that stand out. It's the notations of the trend on how you do things, especially when it comes to your credit card payments, your card payments, any type of payments. If you late, it's an indicator. If you a risk is an indicator. There are so many, points on your credit report that you must understand. Please be mindful of your spend. And I thank you for tuning in for another Credit Tip Tuesday. I love you guys. I will see you next week. And you guys take care.